You've been working out for a while.
Yeah, over a decade.
Over a decade. What has changed and how has that transition been?
Fitness is still a luxury.
Right.
It was 10 years ago, it still is. But the massive change where people thought it's important to just at least do some movement for like minimum 3 days a week happened after COVID. So gym was an intimidating space even for men. And a study that we actually went through recently said that 20% men were intimidated of going into the gym and 16% of women were intimidated. We noticed the change that massively made a difference, especially in India or in Bangalore, let me be very precise, was group fitness. So whenever it's a group of like 10 people, 20 people working out together, women felt so much more comfortable.
What's the future? Are we going to see more changes in how gyms look?
The offline presence is going to be there for a long time, but I have a feeling that...
Hi everyone, welcome to Gameplay Sport. This is a special edition. We are shooting on location in My Third Space, Indranagar. I have with me Shweta, who is the founder of My Third Space, and we are going to be talking about everything associated with gyms, gym culture, and how we landed up in this beautiful space. Shweta, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And I would like to start with the most basic of questions. You've been working out for a while.
Yeah, over a decade.
Over a decade. What has changed and how has that transition been?
Oh my God, that's like such a broad question. What has changed? I think the number of people exercising has changed.
That's a good thing.
It's a huge thing for people like us who are in the industry, trying to, make a career out of this, right? But when I started over a decade ago, I remember we were still very niche. I'm not saying it's become a necessity right now. Fitness is still a luxury.
Right.
It was 10 years ago, it still is. But the massive change where people thought it's important to just at least do some movement for like minimum 3 days a week happened after COVID.
Okay.
That was the breaking point, if I may say. So until then, people did, but it was more about, people who generally used to, or it was a friend dragging a friend, or it's all in the family, you're a health conscious family, fitness conscious family. But after COVID, things drastically changed. Yeah. Like we just saw like an uptake of
people coming
in, signing up at gyms and things like that. Of course, did everyone just become consistent? Not necessarily, but the intent was very, very strong, and which is also why from right on 100 feet now, we were probably 4 gyms, and now we're 20 gyms in the last like few years, like 3-4 years. So that's huge growth. Yeah, and everyone has enough.
Let's go back to a bit of history, right? So when I first got interested in gym, it was when Hrithik Roshan came on screen, right? So what was the moment for you when you're like, something, I got to hit the gym? Like
I started out my fitness career because of dance.
Okay.
Right? Dance and fitness and all of that came together. So my entry into it was more from a very passion standpoint and not because, oh my God, I have to work out. Having said that, I've always done sports. So that was another lead.
What sports did you play?
Well, I did quite a few, not one. I used to run a lot, relay and sprinting and all that. I did volleyball, and my most favorite sport was shot put.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and apparently I did fairly well in shot put.
So from that to dance?
Yeah, and dance was like constant. Like I've done dancing all my life, right? What happened was an injury because of excessive dancing and overuse injury, which then led me to strength training. Right. And then when I started strength training, it changed my life. Not from the fact that it made me stronger, of course it did, but I think somewhere from not being a very confident person, I suddenly developed this newfound confidence, being able to lift heavy weights in the same room as a lot of other men. I just had a new outlook to life. And for me, as a woman, and especially a woman coming from a middle class family, who was raised just to be like, okay, you can get a job, but focus is marriage and kids and stuff. For someone like that, just strength training changed my perspective about so many things. And then when I look back a little bit more after the acquisition of my first gym, when I used to sit in the room with Mukesh Bansal and other colleagues of mine, all from like some from IIMs and some from Stanford and IIT. I'm like, oh my God, I'm only a BCom graduate, and to be able to sit here among so many people has to also give me a lot of mental strength apart from just the experience of being in the field of fitness.
Right.
Right. So I feel a lot of that for me has come from strength training, from lifting weights, from just consistently working out.
Right.
And my lead to that was
injury. Okay, so shout out to all the BCom people, 2 BCom graduates here. We have landed pretty good. But getting back to your initial days where you said that you're working out in a gym full of men, right? Take us through that transition, right?
Yeah.
How the gym space has changed.
Yeah. So this is actually about 11 years ago, I think, when I was again in dance, injury happened, and I was forced to step into the gym to like use machines or, you know, do some squats and lunges and stuff. And my friend, who was my partner then, he was the one who was training me.
Okay.
Because for me, in gym was new. Personally, the initial thing was I was a little intimidated because you barely see any women. But then when I started enjoying what it was doing to me, and because I had my support, my friend with me, it was very easy to kind of transition into being in that gym space, because I was always in the studio teaching dance and fitness and all of that, right? But today, okay, cut to, that was that phase when I was probably one or maybe we were 2 women in a gym of like 20, 30 men. Today, in my third space, if you see a typical class, okay, if there are 20 people in a class, out of that 16 are women.
Oh, wow. That's
and
nice.
4 are men, right? And sometimes there's 1 man and like 12 women. And I have seen this transition. I honestly don't know how it's happened, but I feel like social media has a big role to play because a lot of us, me and a lot of other women fitness enthusiasts out there have come on social media, constantly spoken about what training and strength training has done for them. And I feel that has brought out a lot of women.
You talked about your previous gym that you started and you started this. So you have had 2 different experiences of starting gyms.
Yes.
How has your experience in the smaller gyms that you worked and you were in this space which was mostly dominated by men, how has that experience influenced in designing your own gyms? What have you paid attention to?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I think it's the kind of workout that you give, you put out there. So gym was an intimidating space even for men. And a study that we actually went through recently said that 20% men were intimidated of going into the gym and 16% of women were intimidated of going to the gym.
That is an interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting, right? But women actually love group classes.
Okay.
Right? If you send them to a typical gym with a lot of machines and a lot of men around, they may not feel super comfortable unless they have a partner with them. But what we noticed, the change that massively made a difference, especially in India or in Bangalore, let me be very precise, was group fitness. So whenever it's a group of like 10 people, 20 people working out together, women felt so much more comfortable. And they'd most often just, you know, either go with a friend or find a friend right there. So in my first space, the Tribe Fitness Club, that's what we kind of broke. The whole concept of fitness being more group than a gym. And I can confidently say that the Tribe was one of the first group exercise gym in the country. Like there were gyms which had group exercise.
From individual
to
working out
only
to
group,
only
like
group.
Completely pivoted to group. So the strength happened in group, yoga happened in group, dance happened in group, cycling happened in group, everything
happened in group.
So then that's when we noticed that, oh my God, like so many women we see them walking in because it's now becoming more like fun, right? So I feel that's one of the best ways we found to get into the, you know, get more women in was just make it a group affair, make it fun. Like they can talk to each other, they can laugh, they can sit out for coffee and gossip if they want to after class.
So do you think the third space, right, or you know, the creation of it, is that the inspiration behind creating a space
the inspiration
like this?
For this space was more about what else can I do to make more women strength train. Like we understood, and then after with cult also, right? We understood that group exercise is the go-to. This is how we're going to get our Indian women out and get them to move. And once they're addicted, trust me. I mean, you and I both know it, right? When we're addicted, then there's no looking back. But for me, with this space, I was more about what do I want to do differently after being in the space for 10 years? Number one, I want more women to strength train because I've seen the benefits and I would love to transfer those benefits to the women. right? And I feel like the women of this country, especially the mothers, the new moms, the pregnant women, need it so much. Number two, I want to change the narrative of how a gym should look, right? It doesn't have to be intimidating, black, brown, dark.
Yeah.
You know, just walk in and all you see is a machine. It can be,
photos.
yeah, like it can be a lot of sunlight, a lot of green, a lot of openness, a lot of high ceilings, which makes you feel like, oh, am I in a resort sort of a thing? And sunlight and plants are very important to good health or just for your mood. Right?
Yeah.
So that was my second thing. Like, I want to break away from these two things. And the last thing was, why is a gym only restricted to giving you workouts? Why are we not making holistic? Why am I not able to provide food guidance? Why am I not able to give you physiotherapy? Why am I not able to give you blood work options? So for us, it's mandatory for all our members to have a blood work. So we make them do it.
Okay.
We've built it into the membership. So if you come in,
Right.
I'll ensure your assessment is done because we have physiotherapy downstairs. I'll ensure your blood work is done. I'll ensure you sit with a nutritionist with that blood work and a body composition to go over your macros.
Wow.
I'm not saying that you have to follow the meal plan and all of that. But a lot of people, I remember last year when we started, hadn't even done a blood work in like 2-3 years.
Wow.
Right? And the reason why I'm saying it's important is that when you are on the floor, if your vitamin D, B12, etc. is very low, you are prone to higher injuries. What are you going to do when you hurt yourself? You're going to blame the gym. You're going to blame the coach. But in reality, it is your body's deficiency that has caused you that injury.
Yeah. So you guys are moving from gym for bodybuilding to a lifestyle.
Yeah, a lifestyle. Like if you're working out, remember, food is important, sleep is important, assessment is important, regular myofascial release is important.
Yeah.
Like we're just teaching people how to build all this in and not make it too scary or like overwhelming. You know, you do it over a period of time, do it slow. But remember, that completes the circle of health.
Correct.
Just coming and working out and then just sitting 23 hours is not going to solve any problem.
Yeah. So let's get to the social media part. You talked about it. What's your experience been? You've been on social media also for about a decade, I feel. And how has that been part of your fitness journey and business journey?
Huge change. A lot of, first of all, our marketing is just social media. It's word of mouth and social media. Like we're almost up to capacity now. We in fact don't take new members for certain batches. And for a lot of gyms, I know social media is like the forefront, right? But you know what? More than anything else, more than just creating walk-ins, the influence people are having just to go and work out is so strong on social media. And this is because of the people who are on my feed, who follow me. They tell me that when we see your post that you finished your workout at 6:30 a.m., we want to get out of bed and do something.
Wow.
So
that motivation is real.
Yeah, it is so clear. And I think it's for all of us. Like there is someone I follow who I look up to in the space of fitness. I'll be motivated by them. I'll be heavily influenced. So when I see a new format of exercise on social media, I'm like, oh my God, I want to try it or I want to bring it into my gym.
Yeah.
So this way, a lot of social media plus a lot of the influence of the West, we've been also accessing more fitness formats, trying out different things. Some of them stay. Some of them don't work for our audience. For example, CrossFit. It's not something that Indians can really, push to do. It's very intense. And for us, even if people start walking regularly, it's a big deal.
It's a big thing, right.
Right? So huge influence. And in a positive way, of course, there's negative influences because then you try to do multiple things because you're FOMOing, right? You're like fully fear of,
So Shweta, we talked about how gyms have changed. From the basement, we are sitting in a, like you said, a resort-like space with really good ventilation. What else has changed within the gym, right? For the longest time, for me as a kid growing up, the gym meant either do bench press or arm curls. But now it's changing. What has changed within the gym, both the exercises and the kind of people who are coming in?
Just the exercise format itself has changed, right? Bench press, what you did is important and we're still continuing to do it. But the workout, like it's so much variety now. So much variety. And that's because exercise physiology has evolved. So we know more, we're learning more every year, we're being, taught more and etc. So what's happening inside this space now is very different from what you'd see in a typical gym. The way the strength training is done, focus on stability training, focus on power training, agility training. So The training is keeping in mind how will you move when you're 70? How will you move when you're 60? How much stability you need as you grow old?
Oh, wow.
So that's how it's changed, and that's why people are also enjoying it more, because every day is a different day for them at the gym.
Right. It's not about having a six-pack or showing off the six-pack, or is
Well,
it also bit about that?
Who doesn't want a defined,
Yes,
everyone has
we all-
six packs,
Yeah.
but who doesn't want a nice definition, right? Well, even I don't have, because I love food.
Right. Okay.
So that's a choice you and I have to make.
Yes,
You
yes.
love food, then it's a little harder.
Okay. So coming back to technology, right?
Yeah.
You have been an ambassador for Apple for a while. You have your technology, and I'm pretty sure the clients also come in with fitness technology. What's the future of gyms and exercise with all this technology coming in?
I love the fitness tech there is out there. I
Superb.
absolutely love it, and I use it a lot. Having said that, it's going to take some time for people to start fully accepting fitness tech, because it is a lot of work, like wearing a lot of gadgets and reading a lot of stuff. Also, we're still a country and city that loves human feel and touch, and we like to see our coaches, be around our coaches. Online is there, but it's still going to be a little slow. Having said that, for me, technology in fitness is everything. I wear my ring to track my sleep. I wear my watch for the last 6-7 years to track everything from my VO2 max to my workout to my heart rate to ECG. I mean, Apple is my favorite, and I had the opportunity to meet Tim Cook recently, so now it's a bigger favorite.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? But I'm this is on me all the time. Like, I don't have any other jewelry. This is my jewelry.
so-
Right? And then I do a lot of other tests. Like, I do, apart from blood tests, I do genetic testing, I do DNA testing.
Oh, wow. You go all the way with technology.
Yeah, because I'm like, when there is information available for me to figure what my future is going to be like, why am I not using it? Like, between my parents, I have heart disease, cancer, Parkinson's, everything. But if I have a report that can at least give me a hint or a direction, hey, you may not, makes me sleep better.
Right.
you know?
So do you have clients come in and say, hey, my Apple Watch is telling this, and you're like,
Yeah.
trust me. Now, do you get irritated the same way doctors get
Yes.
irritated if they come and talk about webinars?
Yes, the
How do you
truth is
handle that?
yes, but the answer to that is you're always going to explain it to your best knowledge, and you're never going to say, look, just go figure it out. No,
Okay,
we're
so
not.
Shweta, to wrap it up, what's the future? Are we going to see more changes in how gyms look?
The offline presence is going to be there for a long time, but I have a feeling that online is also going to start becoming bigger. It's not hit, the market in a very strong way, and we saw that with our cult apps and etc. But it is going to, given the fact that our lifestyles are getting so busy, the traffic's only getting worse. I think making it to the gym is going to be a task, and I feel online training is going to become the next big thing, and we can see it happening slowly. But you know what? Whatever it is, the market is still not,
Hit
it's
there.
still a little, untouched in my opinion. From given our population and etc., we're so far away. There's a lot of job opportunities in this
that's nice.
industry, like
That's good to
huge.
hear.
But
Yeah.
honestly, we're out of good coaches, right? So the job opportunity itself in this industry is massive.
Oh, wow. That's
Massive, yeah.
that's
Like I
really-
said, this road itself has some 20-25 gyms.
Right.
And if you want stronger coaches, better coaches, if people understand that coaching can also be a career and a serious one, the job opportunity in this is huge.
Oh, wow.
Really, really huge, yeah.
There you heard it, folks, from Shweta, the well-informed visionary of the fitness industry. We're going to have gyms online slightly in the future, but for now, it's going to be offline, personal, one-to-one, and a whole science-backed kind of fitness. So,
Yes.
we'll catch you on location next time. Thank you so much, Shweta,
Thank
for
you. I
giving
love
us
that
so
quick
much
chat.
information. See you all next time. Have a nice day and do work out.
Thank you.